The solution to ending cash bail is for one, you have to educate people what the problems are with cash bail. What we found is there are a lot of citizens who don't understand how negatively the cash bail system impacts poor communities and communities of color.
In Philadelphia, the way the cash bail system works is that a magistrate who has very limited information about an individual, a bail magistrate, decides what amount of bail that should be placed on someone in order to gain their freedom. For the most part, many people who come into this system, especially with social conditions, are those who come from poorer communities and therefore cannot afford any amount of cash bail.
So many of the people who are in jail are frankly just broke, or they may have mental health issues, or they may have the disease of addiction, and they don't belong there.
Last Wednesday, the Player Coalition, along with the Defenders Association of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund, bailed out 10 individuals. What's up here right now is something that you don't see everywhere, where you have the Public Defender's Office, the DA, the community groups all working together with influencers to say, this is what we want to change.
I'm here today to participate in the social services fair for the people that bailed out on Wednesday for the holiday. We assembled about 15 or more community organizations that will be able to provide support for the men and women who are bailed out on an ongoing basis.
This work that we're doing around no cash bail is so important. It's so important for us to let people know the importance of it. One of the women that we mentor, she wasn't making enough money. She had a job making about $9 an hour, and her bail was about $5 grand, so they couldn't afford to get her out. So she sat up there for nine months, really, she sat up there. She lost her job, she lost her car, and she almost lost her children to the system because nobody wanted to take care of her children and nobody could afford to get her out.
So imagine if you went to jail for something fairly minor, the kind of mistakes a lot of people make, you're willing to be accountable for it, but you can't go home and your pet is going to starve to death. You can't take your kid to school tomorrow and your wife needs to be at work. Imagine if you're in a position where all those things that are keeping your life going the right direction can't be done because you're stuck.
This is something that we have seen time and time again as a trend. It's become normalized, and we're trying to break that normal stigma and saying this is not a normal way of dealing with human beings. We know there are better opportunities and options, but we can only do it with the help and the response of the community.
Well, there's a lot of people who like to sell the narrative that if you let people out of jail and we don't incarcerate people, then all of a sudden we won't have law and order, that people will commit more crimes, and that simply is not the case.
I think the opportunity for growth within these nonprofit organizations that are a part of the partnership is definitely beneficial, not only to the Players Coalition, but to those individuals that we intend on serving.
When you decide to take funds, instead of incarcerating and punishing people, you take those funds and invest in people, invest in these organizations that have all that people need, and really embrace building up our communities, that makes our community safer, that makes our community stronger.